Hi students, today we will learn Arndt-Isert reaction. The Arndt-Isert reaction is the conversion of a carboxylic acid to its homologue. The reaction is named for the German chemist Fritz Arndt and Bernd Isert. The reaction involves treating an acid chloride with diazomethane. This reaction is used to produce beta amino acids from alpha amino acids. So these are homologous reactions wherein there's going to be an ring expansion if you're taking a cyclic substrate, or else there's going to be an addition of a methylene group, that is CH2 group, to as a product. So this is called as the homologous. Means if there's a propane in the as a substrate, then you're going to get a butane in the product. So there's going to be one carbon addition in the product. So that is called the homologue. So Arndt-Isert reaction is a clue for you in suppose in exam if they're giving a substrate and directly a product which is having an extra carbon atom, then it means to say that it is involving this reaction. Now let us look at the mechanism. So the first step is we have an acid in reaction with thionyl chloride, that is RCOOH in presence of thionyl chloride is going to give us an acid chloride, RC double bond O Cl. Now in this reaction we are making use of the diazonium methane. So here we know that the carbonyl carbon is highly electropositive. So what happens here is the nitrogen is going to attack the carbonyl carbon and there is going to be the movement of electron towards oxygen to give O minus in this kind. Now at this point there is going to be the addition of N3, that is CH2 N3 N2 in this form. The next step would be, see, oxygen is getting a negative charge, so that negative charge is going to come back to form a double bond between carbon and oxygen, and then there's going to be cleavage of the halide ion. So once this cleavage of the halide ion takes place, here it is going to give rise to an intermediate of this sort. Now you can see that nitrogen is having a positive charge, so hence there can be elimination of the nitrogen. That is, there's going to be there is nitrogen with the electron pair, bonded pair is going to get departed as N2, and here there's going to be formation of a double bond. That is, see, one of the hydrogen is going to get deprotonated and that bond is going to form a double bond between carbon and nitrogen. Here you can see this, and then there is going to be there's going to be movement of the nitrogen towards the terminal nitrogen to give a negative charge on the terminal nitrogen. The next step would be this N minus is going to come back and form a triple bond, and then again there's just conjugated as the continuous movement of the electrons, and then again the double bond between carbon and nitrogen is again going to give rise to a negative charge on the carbon to give an anion, carbanion. Okay, at this point there can be a rearrangement or there can be movement of this double bond towards the nitrogen to give rise to an alpha diazoketone. So this is one of the reaction to give rise to the alpha diazoketone. Instead, it can also react with Ag2O, and then there can be the further reaction. That is, once there is the movement of we're using the reagent as the Ag2O, then here you can see that nitrogen having a positive charge is going to take up the bonded pair with the carbon atom and is going to get departed as the N2. That is, nitrogen is going to get departed. Here, now what is left out is we have a carbene of this kind. You can see RC double bond O CH is the carbene here, which is generated once there is the departure of the nitrogen molecule. Now the carbene is, we know carbene is carbon having that is a lone pair, that is electron pair. Carbon having an electron pair and which is bonded to a carbonyl group is what we call as a carbene. So whenever there's a carbon having a lone pair on it, is always called as a carbene. So now here the carbene, that is the lone pair on the carbon atom, is going to form a double bond between the carbon to give ketene, that is O double bond C double bond O. So this is what is going to form O double bond C double bond C. This is the ketene which is formed after the movement of the lone pair towards the carbonyl carbon. Okay, once the lone pair on this carbon moves towards the carbonyl carbon to give a double bond, that is CC double bond, then you can see there are 4 bonds which is bonded to the central carbon atom. So at this point there is going to be rearrangement, that is the alkyl group with its electron pair is going to get moved, or it's going to get rearranged towards or migrate towards the carbene. So that is what is written here. See, R is getting the carbon at the terminal carbon atom, and then there is this double bond. This is nothing but directly, this here that has shown the hybridization, that is the orbital arrangement here, molecular orbital arrangement. If you want, you can write this, or else directly from carbene you can show the electron pair movement, and then this is going to give rise to the ketene. So I hope this is clear. Here at this point there is the rearrangement. It is similar to the Wolff rearrangement. So here you can see how the alkyl group migrates to the terminal carbon and the double bond is formed between the carbon. That is what is written here. C double bond C is this one, C double bond C, and then R migrates to the terminal to give rise to the R bonded to the terminal carbon. Now, once the ketene is formed, this can further react with water molecule to give rise to the homologous acid. So first here you had a carboxylic acid RCOOH, and this on reaction with the Arndt-Isert synthesis and the reaction gave rise to another additional carbon atom. That is, now it is RCH2COOH. That is nothing but what we call as the homologous. So from the carboxylic acid, you are going to give rise. It is going to give rise to the homologous form of the carboxylic acid. So this is about the Arndt-Isert reaction. Now next let us study the Tiffany-Demjanov rearrangement. So Tiffany-Demjanov rearrangement is a reaction of 1-amino methyl cycloalkanol with nitrous acid to form an enlarged cycloketone. These involve ring expansion, that is they give rise to their ketone homologous. See, Arndt-Isert and also the Demjanov rearrangement are similar because both of them give rise to the homologous series. There's always going to be a one carbon atom which is going to get added in the product. Suppose in this reaction, if you take a cyclohexanone, then it is going to give rise to a cycloheptanone. Means I'm generalizing. If there is a 6 carbon atom which is involved, it is going to give rise to 7 carbon atoms. So this is how the reaction takes place in this rearrangement. Next, let us look at the mechanism. So the first step is formation of nitrosonium ion. So now in this reaction, we are making use of a nitrous acid, that is HNO2. HNO2 on reaction with the hydronium ion H3O+. See, the H3O+, we know it is nothing but water which has taken up a proton. So that's how it is going to give rise to H3O+. Now here oxygen, which is having a lone pair on it, is going to grab one of the proton from the H3O+. Once it grabs the proton, what is going to happen is, in place of 1 hydrogen, the oxygen is going to take up 2 hydrogen, and hence you can know if oxygen has 3 bonds, it is going to possess a positive charge. So again I'll tell, this oxygen with its lone pair is going to grab a proton from the hydronium ion to give rise to H2O+. Now H2O+, there is going to be a movement of electrons in such a way that the water molecule is going to be eliminated. See here again you can see that oxygen is bonded to nitrogen, there's a double bond, and we know there are 2 more lone pairs on oxygen. So the lone pair moves towards the nitrogen to form a triple bond between nitrogen and oxygen. And in the meantime, there is going to be the departure of the water molecule, which is going to give rise to a nitrosonium ion. N triple bond O is a nitrosonium ion, because we call it an ion because oxygen here is bonded to, is having bond order 3. It is bonded with 3 bonds with nitrogen. Hence, oxygen possesses a positive charge. So this is what we call as the nitrosonium ion. So now this ion is an electrophile. So this ion that is an electrophile is going to attack the nucleophile. So here the nucleophile is nothing but the amino alcohol. That is the nucleophile. Now let us see the step 2 mechanism. So the step 2 is ring expansion. Now here we have 1-amino methyl cycloalkanol. See here 1-amino methyl is because you're going to name amino as 1 and it is 2 and more and so on, and it is a cyclic group, so hence cycloalkanol, and it is 1-amino because for nitrogen we are giving the higher priority than alcohol. So nitrogen gets the first position and hence nomenclature is given as 1-amino. Methyl is because there is a methyl group in between the which is attached to the amino group. So hence 1-amino-methyl alcohol, cycloalkanol. Now this is a nucleophile. It is going to, that is the electrophile, that is nothing but the nitrosonium ion is going to react with the substrate, that is 1-amino-methyl cycloalkanol, to give rise to the ketone. Now let us look at the mechanism. See, first step is nitrogen is a nucleophile here. It is having a lone pair on it. So this is going to act as nucleophile. It is going to bond with the nitrogen of the nitrosonium ion, and there is going to be movement of electrons towards the oxygen to release the positive charge. So once that happens, it is going to give an intermediate of this kind. So now you can see the nitrogen which was linked to the cyclic group is going to have a positive charge, because it is bonded with 4 different atoms. One is the methyl group, CH2 methylene, and 2 hydrogen, and one is the nitrosonium group. Okay, now the next step would be the presence of base would take up the proton which is attached to the primary amine, and there's going to be movement of the electron pair towards nitrogen to release the positive charge. So the positive charge is going to be released. That is how it is formed here. So you see here, you can see that now nitrogen is bonded to 3 atoms and is having a lone pair. Now the next step would be the lone pair on nitrogen is going to form a double bond between another nitrogen, and there's going to be movement of electron from the nitrosonium ion towards the oxygen to give O minus. Now this O minus, there is an O minus here, and this is going to grab the proton H plus to give rise to NOH. So this is how it's going to take place. Double bond of the nitrogen is going to form. The lone pair on nitrogen is going to form a double bond between the nitrogen to give N double bond N. And then there is movement of the electrons towards the oxygen to give rise to O minus. O minus is going to grab a proton which is attached to the secondary amine NH. And this is how you're going to get the NOH. That is the alcoholic group you're going to get. Now here you can see the lone pair still exists on the nitrogen. Now the next step would be, in presence of the hydronium ion, again, what is going to happen is now the oxygen is going to take up the proton from the hydronium ion. So after taking up the proton from the hydronium ion, it is going to give H2O plus. Oxygen now bears 3 bonds, and hence it is going to have positive charge on it. Oxygen is going to take up one more proton, and hence it is having 3 bonds. You can see 1 with nitrogen and 2 with hydrogens, and hence oxygen has a positive charge on it. Now the next step would be to remove the oxygen or to remove the water molecule. That is nothing but lone pair on nitrogen forms a triple bond between the nitrogen to give an azide group here, and then there is going to be the departure of the water molecule. Now you can see the positive charge is going to be generated at the nitrogen azide group, because nitrogen now is bonded to 4 bonds, 3 bonds with nitrogen and 1 with the methylene group. Now the last step would be nothing but the ring expansion. How the ring is going to expand is, here you have a cyclopentanol here, and this is going to expand, that is the ring is going to expand to form a cyclohexanone group. That is nothing but, as I have already shown in the blue arrow mark, that bond is going to get enlarged to form a bond will be formed between the to form a cyclohexanone. So here you have a bond here, right? Now when that bond enlarges, you can see that there's going to be a positive charge on that carbon which is attached to the hydroxyl. I hope you are getting it. So now this hydroxyl, you are going to rearrange it to form the ketone group. So this is how you're going to get the cyclohexanone group. That's nothing but from 1-amino-methyl cycloalkanol, you're going to get the cyclohexanone group. That is from a 5-membered cyclic group, you're going to get a 6-membered cyclic group. So hence it is called hence it is a reaction of a homologous. It is a homologous reaction. So this is it for today, students. Thank you very much.